Shalom and welcome to another lesson in the series The People of Israel, Preparing for Kingship. Today we are studying the book Samuel 1, chapter 5. The Philistines had taken the ark of Hashem and they brought it from Even Ha'ezer to Ashdod. If we recall, in the previous chapter we studied the victory of the Philistines over the Israelites, where the Israelites go back to bring the ark, hoping that it will save them from defeat. And the consequences were quite severe. We witnessed the catastrophe, the tragic catastrophe of the destruction of Shilo, the death of the high priest, death of his two children, his two sons, Chofni and Pinchas, and his daughter-in-law. And now we are going to be following the ark. What happens to the ark? The ark has been taken hostage by the Philistines. And what happens to the ark is described in chapter 5. The Philistines take the ark and they bring it to the house of Dagon, their idol, and they place it next to Dagon. The people of Ashdod, the Philistines living in Ashdod, they rise the next morning and they see that Dagon has fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of Hashem. So what do? They take Dagon and they return it to its place. Once again, the next morning, the following morning, again they wake up and they see Dagon falling on its face on the ground before the Aron of Hashem. Dagon's head and his two palms were lying on the threshold. Only Dagon's fish-like body apparently remained intact. This is why the priests of Dagon and all those who visit the house of Dagon do not tread upon the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod until this very day. The hand of Hashem then became heavy against the Ashdodites, and he devastated them. He struck Ashdod and its region with hemorrhoids, and they're punished. And the men of Ashdod are frightened because of this, and they said, "Oh no, the ark of God of Israel should not stay with us, for its hand has been harsh against us and against Dagon our God." So the people of Ashdod see the consequences of bringing the ark to them. Their idol, Dagon, falls apart twice. First day just falls down. Second day is already without his hands and head. And they say, we have to get rid of him. And what do? They summon all the governors of the Philistines and gather them. And they say, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? What are we going to do? And they replied, let the ark, Gat Yisov, let the ark of God of Israel be transferred to Gat. So they transfer the ark of the God of Israel to Gat. And when it arrives at Gat, after they transferred it, the hand of Hashem was directed against the city, causing a great panic. He struck the people of the city from young to old. So they see they can't cope with it. And they send the ark to Ekron. And when the ark of God arrived at Ekron, when the ark of God arrived at Ekron, the people of Ekron, of course, weren't very happy yet. The people of Ekron cried out, "They have transferred the ark of Hashem, the God of Israel, to me, to kill me and my people." Heisabu elai et Aron Elohei Yisrael hamiteni vetami. And once again, they also summon all the governors of the Philistines, and they gather them. They say, send away the ark of the God of Israel. Let it return to its place and not kill me and my people. There was great panic and death in the entire city. The hand of the God was very heavy there. The people who did not die were stricken, and the cry of the city rose to heaven. What we see here, the ark arriving in the city of Ashdod, causing damage to the idol, causing damage to the people, causing a plague among the people, and they send it to Gat. And it arrives to Gat, and once again, the people of Gat there suffer, and they send it to Ekron, and the people of Ekron the same thing. And what we see is basically, on the very first day, when they see the Dagon falling down, why didn't they immediately send it back? And in general, what's the concept of this whole story? The Dagon falling down, and the Dagon falling down again, and trying to bring it to Gat, and trying to bring it to Ekron. What is the whole concept of what's going on here? And why is the Tanach telling us this story? I mean, if God wanted to defeat the Philistines, he could have defeated the Philistines. Why did he have to have the ark taken by the Philistines? And when it arrives there, it causes so much damage among the people there. And they bring it from one city to another city to another city. And it seems, that what we see over here is that two perspectives of the story that's going on over here. On the one hand, the people of Israel had reached a point where the temple, the tabernacle in Shilo had to be taken down. It had come to an end. The situation there could not continue on. We saw the behavior of the high priest and his sons, mainly his sons. We saw that the situation was causing people not to come to Shilo, and the tabernacle was neglected, and it was bringing the name of God to shame. It had come to an end. But there's another side to that whole story. And the other side of that whole story is that the Philistines who believe that when they defeat the people of Israel, it's their God who has defeated the God of Israel. And not only their God, their local God has defeated the God of Israel. And in their faith, each God had its day, had its place, had its geographical location, and it was only a matter of coincidence. So when they manage to capture the ark of the God of Israel, this is a very terrible message. It means Dagon reached victory over the God of Israel. And this is something we can't, the Tanach cannot take. This is something that the whole Tanach is talking against. We can remember the stories of Pharaoh, where God is trying to show and teach Pharaoh who the God of Israel is. And if we see over here in the story, in chapter 4, when they bring the ark, and the people of the Philistines are quite frightened, what they say is, oh no, here is the ark of God. I'm reading in chapter 4, verse 8. Woe to us! Who will save us from the hand of the mighty God? This is the God who struck the Egyptians with all kinds of plagues in the desert. Be strong, be men, O Philistines, lest you become enslaved to the Hebrews. The Philistines remember the God of Israel. They recall the stories of what happened to Pharaoh. And the great abomination of the name of God of Israel is so terrible. Something has to happen amongst them to show that there's whole total misunderstanding of what's going on. The people of Israel, the Israelites, lost at battle because of their sins. But the God of Israel did not lose to the God of the Philistines. This brings us back to a different story, where we had something just pretty much alike. If we recall in the book of Judges, we had Samson coming to the end of his days, where the Philistines managed to overcome him after he was tempted by the women of the Philistines. But at that very last moment, when he remembers the God of Israel, when he remembers God and he says, God, please, at my very last moment, allow me to take revenge over the people. We recall that story takes place in the house of Dagon. In chapter 16 of the book of Judges, verse 23. And it came about, the governors of the Philistines gathered to make a great sacrifice to their god Dagon, and for a celebration. Our God has delivered Shimshon, and our enemy, into our hands. Our God has delivered Samson. And at that moment, Samson makes a deep prayer to God. And Samson manages to grasp those two central pillars which supported the building. He leans on them and he says, let my soul die with the Philistines. He pushes it forcefully and the building collapses. The Philistines were totally worshipping their god Dagon. And when they win the victory, when they have victory in the battlefield, that is for them the victory of their God. And this is something that even in the book of Samuel, at the very beginning, when we understand the destruction of the tabernacle in Shilo is something that has to come about. But it cannot be misunderstood by the other nations. It cannot be understood as if there was a victory of Dagon. And therefore we have this entire chapter where we see that the people of Philistine, they're trying to prove, maybe it's because it's the wrong place, maybe it's in Gad it'll be better, maybe in Ekron it'll be better, maybe today it'll be better, maybe tomorrow it'll be better. No! We have to totally uproot this feeling that Dagon, an idol, can overcome, can reach victory over the God of Israel. And this is the story of this chapter, showing and actually totally insulting Dagon, and totally uprooting this thought that an idol can overcome the God of Israel. Shalom.